Let's get some live intro music. Live intro.
Let's go and move with life. Let it go, something new tonight. Let's go and move with life. Let it go, something new tonight.
G'day guys, welcome back to another edition of The Hit Out, a solo podcast I do every now and then from time to time, a little bit shorter in runtime. We're probably going to go for 15 or 20 minutes. Every time I said that, we've gone for way longer, so let's see what happens. Guys, it is Jai Opetaia Fight Week. Let's turn off the intro. And we're doing live intro music now, which is going to save me on the edits later, so time will tell if that actually worked or if I will continue to do it. But, guys, let's get to it. It is Jai Opetaia Fight Week. I'm straight off after work, straight from the golf course, pumped up on a Friday night. Jai's back, Australia's best fighter, our number one pound-for-pound guy, defending his title. Maybe. We'll get into that later. But let's get into the matchup. Jai Opetaia, Brandon Glanton. We're familiar with Brandon Glanton. Most of us will have known him from his fight with David Light on one of the very first Pro Box shows, I believe, 3 years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. He lost a really competitive decision to David Light. Actually knocked David Light down in the last round. It was a really good, even matchup at the time. Now, look, let's just be totally real. Jai's last couple of fights, we've had Hussein Sin Cara, Claudio Squio, and David Nyika. And Jai has won all three of those fights in absolutely devastating fashion. But we can almost feel the frustration in his voice when he speaks. You know, these are all quality guys, and we don't want to disrespect anyone that gets into the boxing ring for a living and risks their life for our entertainment. Absolutely not. But I think it is very fair to say that these guys are not on Jai's level. Is Brandon Glanton on Brandon Glanton? Excuse me. I should show the man the respect of getting his name right. Brandon Glanton. Is he on Jai's level? Personally, I don't believe so. But we're going to find out. Now, for me, the way I see this fight playing out, I can see it being eerily similar to Jai's fight with Mark Bam Bam Flanagan. Obviously, us on the Australian scene, we're very familiar with Mark Bam Bam Flanagan and what he brings to the table. I think stylistically, Brandon Glanton and Mark Bam Bam Flanagan, there are similarities to draw. They're sort of roughly the same size. They're big and stocky in the upper body. They can both punch. They both like to be aggressive. They both aren't exactly the nimblest on their feet, but most cruiserweights aren't. That's what's one of the things that separates Jai from the pack is his unbelievable athleticism. He can move like a lightweight, the way he bounces in and out. And this is the thing for me that I think is going to be the difference. I think it's really going to be very similar to the Mark Bam Bam Flanagan fight. What is going on with me not being able to pronounce these guys' names tonight? Let me just take a sip, guys. All right, that will have helped me greatly. So the way I see this going, I think Jai, he's too nimble. I'm gonna steal the word from Michael Demura. Told me this on the podcast years ago at this point, and this will date the time reference when it was. This is when Jai was in rumored negotiations to fight Bilal Lugani. That's how long ago it was. And when we were talking about that matchup that ultimately never took place, I asked Mike on the podcast and I asked his thoughts, how he saw the matchup going. And what he said with me has stuck with me. And I've never, ever, ever forgotten it. And I think it's the perfect way to explain Jai in one word. And pertaining to that particular matchup, Michael Demura said to me, he goes, Jai is just too dynamic for this guy. And as soon as he said it, it was like a light bulb in my head. It is the perfect word to encapsulate Jai. And I think it's still as relevant today in this matchup as it was back then in that matchup. Jai is just too dynamic for Brandon Glanton. He can do too many things. He can put pressure on you in different ways. He can make you miss in different ways. He can counter you in different ways. He can change up his offense in different ways that a lot of other guys can't, especially at cruiserweight and at the heavier weights. Guys seem to be, they have less gears and less options to go through. Jai's got a Rolodex. Something doesn't work, he changes. If that doesn't work, he changes. If that doesn't work, he changes. He just keeps flicking that Rolodex until he finds something that sticks. He's throwing mud against the wall, and as soon as something sticks, he's knocking you out. You know, I can see this fight being pretty competitive early. Glanton's a really tough guy and he can punch. I think he's going to come forward. He's going to have no choice but to try and cut Jai off. He's going to have to stop the movement of Jai. You have to make Jai stop. Then when he stops, then you can attack the target. I think he's going to be putting heaps of pressure on in the first 3-4 rounds. I think Jai will weather the storm. I don't think he's going to be in too much damage. It's a pretty similar game plan that guys have tried to employ against Jai for the majority of his career, because these guys can't move like Jai. You have to make the target stop before you can attack it, especially at cruiserweight. So I think the first couple of rounds are going to be really competitive. I still think Jai will be able to win the majority of them. I think Glanton's, I hate to say it, bigger guys, they slow down in the middle rounds. I think he's going to slow down. And once his pressure and his ability to apply pressure on Jai starts to slow down, I think he's going to start to be in trouble. Jai's going to be keeping him moving, keeping him guessing. It's the physical exhaustion coupled with the mental exhaustion of all the things Jai's going to be doing offensively and defensively, switching it up constantly. He's going to be bouncing and playing with the range. But just like what happened to Mark Bam Bam Flanagan all those years ago for the Australian Cruiserweight title, I think this is going to happen sort of in 8, 9, 10 for Brandon Glanton. The avalanche of options and diversity and all the dynamism, if that's the right word. Is that whatever the word is for dynamic? The dynamism. Let's say, let's go with that. It's going to be too much. I think what's going to happen is once Jai plants and he stops bouncing and playing with the range, once he actually plants, I think just like with Mark Bam Bam Flanagan, Brandon Glanton's not going to be ready for it. I can just see Jai drilling him down the middle. As soon as he plants and throws that left hand, I can see him just catching him on a dime and really putting Brandon Glanton in serious trouble and getting him out of there. He can do it with the left hand, the straight left hand. He can do it with the overhand left hand, Hussein Sin Cara style. He can do it with the left uppercut. He can do it with the right hook. That's how dynamic Jai is. So for me, this fight is all about once the pressure from Glanton stops, which eventually I believe it will after about 4 rounds, and Jai just keeps those options in Glanton's face, changing it up, playing with the range, making Glanton chase him, countering him. Once Glanton slows down and once Jai decides, okay, I think he's really going to be dedicated to boxing this time. I know he wasn't happy with his last performance against Sin Cara. He got too aggressive. So I really feel like it's going to be more Jack Massey style, where Jai takes his defense a lot more seriously and boxes here. So once Jai gets through all the boxing, Glanton slows down, Jai plants his feet, he's going to get Glenn at the perfect time. And I think Jai gets him out of there for a mid to late round stoppage. So, guys, the question now, what is going on with Jai's IBF title? Honestly, I have no idea. I'm not an insider. I'm not in the game. I'm not in the backroom meetings. And the people that are in the meetings aren't calling me up and giving me any information. So I'm just reading what I read on Twitter and on, websites and the other boxing fans that I speak with. We're all, trying to gather as much information as we can. So I really have no breaking news style information. I don't really know what way to go. So all I'm really basing it off is my knowledge so far of Zuffa and what Zuffa's attitude has been towards the sanctioning bodies, which, as we all know, has been one of complete uninterest in working with them. They've publicly said that they think the sanctioning bodies are bad for the sport. Is that true to a degree? Certainly. Can you completely abolish them from the sport entirely? I don't think so. That's obviously that company's strategy moving forward. So, look, if we're to read and believe what we've seen, everything is pointing towards the fact that the IBF will not be recognised, which will mean that Zuffa will want Jai to fight for the Zuffa belt. And the IBF have already said, if you're fighting for the Zuffa belt, you cannot fight for our belt either. So, unfortunately, and this sucks for Jai. God, this sucks for Jai. He's worked so hard. He's already been stripped of that title once, which was ridiculous. So he's a 2-time IBF champion. He's going to be stripped again for another ridiculous reason. But, look, I guess that's the danger of getting into a promotional deal with a new outfit like Zuffa, who have been so steadfast and, so upfront about their complete disinterest in recognising the sanctioning bodies. I mean, I've had many people tell me this, but the first time I heard it, it was I was I think I was an apprentice, and it was something to do with work, and I can't credit the person, but it's such a great saying. And we were talking about something completely different, but it applies to life, and it applies to this situation with this new promotional outfit. And this person said to me back in the day, some A-grade Sparky somewhere for some company that I worked for 20 years ago, and he said, mate, you never ever want to be the guinea pig. You never want to be the trial. You never want to be the first one, you know? And what's Jai? Jai is the guinea pig. Jai is the first current recognized world champion from the old guard, we'll say, the old recognized bodies. And he's signed up with a new promotional outfit that's promoted 3 events so far. This is going to be the 4th. And they have said that they do not want to recognize these titles, that all Jai has said for years is he wants to be undisputed. He wants those titles. He wants all those titles that promotional company refused to acknowledge. So how the hell is this going to work? We don't know. That's why Jai's being the guinea pig here. You never want to be the guinea pig. You never want to be the guy that gets in the first driverless car. Wait till there's like 4 or 5 versions of it over a couple of years and they've worked out all the kinks and all the crashes have happened. And then when the technology is up to scratch, jump on it then when it's safe. You know, this is sort of like that analogy in boxing. Jai's jumped in the first driverless car. That's what Zuffa boxing is. We have no previous information, no other cases to look back on and go, oh, okay, well, when they had this particular fighter with this title, he was able to keep it to make this fight. We have nothing. Jai is the guinea pig. So all our opinions are, and my opinion especially, is just a guess. So knowing that promotional company has been so forthright in their wishes to not recognize the sanctioning bodies, I'm going to guess that they won't. And Jai's going to get stripped and he's going to be a Zuffa champion. And how it's even going to be possible for him to fight for any other titles when they wouldn't even let him fight for the one that he already has, I have no idea. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope this all works out for Jai. He's the best cruiserweight in the world. He's the best fighter in this country, and he deserves the chance to be undisputed. And I think he can beat Zurdo and Benavidez and Noel Mikhailian and Glanton. I think he can beat everyone. I think he's the best 200-pounder in the world, and I just hope that he gets the opportunity to prove it because he deserves it. But unfortunately, I don't think he's going to get it. But we're a couple of days away from the fight. There may have already been some news. I literally just went to work, went to golf, got home and started recording this. I haven't looked at anything. So maybe this is all old news and that situation has already been resolved by now. I actually don't know. But if that's the case, well, I apologize for ranting about something that isn't relevant anymore. But we shall see. But most importantly, best of luck to Jai. Man, it's going to be weird watching him in the, fighting in the Zuffa shorts. I mean, I guess he doesn't care ultimately. Just, he's a prize fighter. You want the titles, the opportunity to get the glory and to achieve your goals, and you want to get paid. So, just wearing a Zuffa tracksuit and some Zuffa boxing shorts and some Zuffa gloves and fighting in, some warehouse in front of 50 people, does that really worry him? Probably not. As long as all the other T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, at this point, it probably doesn't worry him. But, in terms of, I don't know, I like to see guys express themselves. I like, I like fighters to have sponsorship opportunities and all that type of thing. Knowing what I know, which is only a little bit, admittedly, about Dana White and the UFC, I don't know. I don't like it. They just got sued for $350 million and they settled out of court, I believe. So if that's not an admission of guilt, I don't know what is. I don't know. I really just wish Jai wasn't the guinea pig. I wish it was someone else. But, imagine what it would be like. I know timing is everything in boxing, but Matchroom have just announced the 7-fight deal with Foxtel. Imagine if they still had Liam Paro and Jai Opetaia. Oh, my God. Jai Opetaia and Liam Paro would be gigantic in Australia. Unless you fight on Foxtel, you will be completely unknown in Australia. That isn't my opinion. That's just a fact. And I hate Foxtel. I wish that wasn't true, but it is undeniably true. Foxtel, they are scumbags. God, they're a horrible company. I hate them. They're so greedy. They're terrible. But it is the biggest sporting platform in this country. Everyone knows it. No one knows what DAZN is. I like DAZN. I have it. I pay for it. Not the ultimate package. That's insane. But just the normal regular package, But it is an undeniable fact. Like, the Maloneys didn't fight on Foxtel. Breaks my heart. They deserve to be popular. they're completely unknown outside of the boxing hardcore. Jai Opetaia, completely unknown outside of the boxing hardcore, Liam Paro, completely unknown when he won a world title in Puerto Rico outside of the boxing hardcore. He's gaining notoriety now because he's fighting on Foxtel. The only way in this country to, I guess, be somewhat known outside of that boxing hardcore, which I personally believe there's only about 5,000 of us. It's a very tiny, small niche audience. The only way is to fight on Foxtel. It is the only way. DAZN, Stan, all these things, they're great. God bless them. I wish them all the success. But up until now, the only way to gain notoriety and popularity in this country is to fight on Foxtel. And Liam Paro, he's doing it with No Limit. I wish he was doing it with Matchroom, just personally. But, and who knows? Maybe the deal wasn't done. But from the outside in, it's like ships in the night. The timing just didn't work out for Jai to stay with Matchroom. And, he'd be fighting on Foxtel and he'd be a gigantic star. Is the Zuffa thing going to lead to unifications and stuff like that? They seem to believe that it will. God, I hope they're right. I hope I'm wrong. But I just, from this seat where I'm sitting, I just can't see it happening, I would love to know too. I would love to know. And I have nothing bad to say about Mick Francis or Jai or anyone on the team. I've met Mick Francis twice, very fleetingly both times, and he was nothing but an absolute thorough gentleman. Seemed to me to come across as a really, really nice bloke. I'd be willing to bet that he absolutely has Jai's best interests at heart, and whatever deal or business decision or avenue they make or go down, I'm sure that he's doing it with the best intentions for Jai. There's no doubt in my mind. I would love to know if they have ever typed in Google Dana White Mexico nightclub. I would love to know if they know what went down a couple of years ago, because people will reveal their true character to you. All you have to do is just wait long enough to let them. And if anyone doesn't know, type in those 4 words, Dana White Mexico nightclub, and you will see that man's true character, and you will see the person that you could potentially be getting into business with. I would love to know if they know that. I would love to, because Dana White showed us his true character. And that's all I'll say on that. But best of luck to Jai. I went on a bit of a tangent there. Sorry, guys. What happens if he wins? I think he's going to win. Geez, that's a $64 million question, isn't it? I have no idea. I mean, I thought this fight currently was going to already be the unification with Noel Michaelians, considering at Zuffa's first event, there was a picture that the Ring released of Jai Opetaia and Noel Michaelian, who is the WBC champion, facing off with each other. And Jai saying something like, fight news soon. It was, I jumped to the conclusion. I thought that was going to be the fight. Why they're doing a Brandon Glanton fight, I don't really know, respectfully, but I just think Jai's been in with this level of guy, and he deserves a bigger opportunity. So I hope that fight can be made next. It seems like they hinted at it. It'd be weird if it didn't happen, but I guess this whole IBF situation is going to shine a light on the path that Jai goes down next. We're going to have to see. It's bloody interesting, but yeah, first of all, we need to watch the fights. Jai needs to win the fights, and yeah, I just really hope it works out for him. But if I'm being honest, I'm skeptical at best, and I hope I'm wrong. I really, really hope I'm wrong. And guys, also just want to touch on as well, today or yesterday, it was announced that Andrew Maloney will be fighting Wilibaldo Garcia, probably in Mexico. Comida Promotions, I believe, is the name of the outfit, has won the purse bid. And we know Eddie Hearn wanted that fight bad for Bam Rodriguez, and Team Maloney refused to take step-aside money. They refused to wait and forego their opportunity. And Andrew Maloney has been steadfast in his desire for this fight. And it appears that this fight is going to be taking place. So we're going to have another traveling Australian fighting for a world title overseas. And as anyone knows who's listened to this show in the past, Andrew and Jason Maloney, they're my favorite fighters. Not that I would ever give fighters advice, or young fighters, but if I could give people advice to any young fighter, just do exactly what Andrew and Jason Maloney do. That's how you conduct yourself. And whatever they don't do it. They are complete total gentlemen. They're role models. They should be superstars. They should be superstars in this country, but they're not because they've never fought on Foxtel. And that is just the cold, hard facts, which sucks because Foxtel are horrible. But that's super exciting news for Andrew Maloney. And look, let's be honest, it's probably the last roll of the dice. I think the Maloney's are like 34 or 35 now at super flyweight and bantamweight for Jason, who's also in a fight on the Tasman show, which we'll talk about on the pod coming up at some stage in the future. So exciting times ahead for Australian boxing, guys. But thought I just wanted to jump on for a quick hit out. What are we at? About 20 minutes. Yeah, I said it'd be 15. I always gas bag and go a bit over, guys, but you know how it is by now. But yeah, guys, I had a guest in mind lined up for an episode for early next week. That guest was unable to do it. It's all good. It's fine. Scheduling issues, which isn't a problem. So I didn't really want to reach out to someone kind of last minute. I like to give people a little bit more time because, you know, I don't know. I just feel like it's not good practice. Just, oh, hey, you want to do the pod tomorrow? I just like to give like a little bit of notice. I just think it's more courteous that way. So, yeah, I haven't organised anyone for this. I thought I'll jump on. I'll do a prediction hit out and I'll probably jump on maybe on Tuesday, the day after the fight, Tuesday afternoon after work, get on for another hit out and we'll go over what happened through the fights. So, yeah, a couple of solo ones to start the month of March, guys. And, yeah, we'll be looking – I haven't looked at the schedule, but looking to get at least 2 guests on in the coming weeks after that. So, yeah, a couple of back-to-back hit outs now and we'll go from there. So, guys, I'm going to do some live outro music in a minute because that is going to make my editing life so much easier, but it'll be a bit clunky. But, yeah, if you guys want to get in contact with me, you can – email the pod at TUSCPod@gmail.com. That's TUSCPod@gmail.com. If you want to throw a tweet at me, you can do that at delivery_man2. Guys, I've got the YouTube page, got the Instagram page. If you want to jump on there, all the links are in the description. Not must follows, but yeah, I'd really appreciate it. Thanks to everyone who's been watching on the YouTube channel. It's only a new thing. Some videos have done really well. Some videos have been surprisingly low, but I guess I'm still just figuring out this whole YouTube thing. Been dedicated to the audio completely for like 5 or 6 years. So the whole video thing I'm still getting used to. But yeah, guys, all right, let's hit this outro music and see how we go. That's hit in. So yeah, guys, main thing is Jai fights for free this weekend. It's going to be an absolute ton of fun. Either way, best of luck to him moving forward. And guys,